The era of the independent solo creator is dead, and the mechanism behind its execution is currently operating on a closed campus. When Kai Cenat brought dozens of streamers together for Streamer University, the internet treated it as a viral summer event. But behind the scenes, it marks a terrifying shift for the future of digital media. This is the official debut of the factory model. By creating a literal academy that dictates exactly how the next generation of broadcasting talent produces, edits, and cross-promotes content, Cenat is eliminating the element of algorithmic chance entirely. If you aren't backed by a vertically integrated attention monopoly like this, your chances of organically scaling a channel are about to drop to zero. This is the unvarnished reality of how one streamer is quietly building a cartel to control everything you watch. When applications for the program officially went live, the digital infrastructure handling the intake collapsed under the weight of millions of simultaneous hits. To the casual observer scrolling through TikTok, the sight of thousands of hopeful micro-creators lining up outside audition venues in New York and Los Angeles looked like a standard reality TV casting call. Industry insiders, however, recognized a pattern that closely mirrors the early days of the Industrial Revolution. For over a decade, digital platforms like Twitch and YouTube sold a democratic dream. The idea that anyone with a smartphone and a stable internet connection could ascend to the top of the media landscape through sheer merit and algorithmic luck. It was a comforting narrative that kept millions of independent users producing free content for tech monopolies. But by mid-2026, that organic dream has hit a hard, mathematically absolute scaling wall. The baseline cost of capturing a viewer's attention has expanded exponentially. As high-production operations and corporate-backed media networks consolidate their grip on the homepage algorithms, the independent creator has been systematically pushed into an unviable economic corner. The financial overhead required to build a studio, manage multicam production feeds, and navigate shifting platform monetization policies has turned what used to be a hobby into an asset-heavy capital nightmare. This is the exact structural bottleneck that Streamer University was engineered to exploit. When Kai Cenat announced that his organization would fly over 100 selected creators to a centralized campus, covering every dime of their travel, housing, and operational logistics for free, media commentators framed the move as an act of pure creator philanthropy. The reality is far more calculating. This is a highly sophisticated equity and talent acquisition play, disguised as an educational retreat. By removing the primary financial and logistical friction that chokes out independent talent, Cenat is establishing the world's first digital native farm system. The objective is not to teach these students how to stream. The objective is to induct them into a hyper-efficient content factory. Under the guise of specialized classes led by prominent industry veterans, these micro-creators are being taught a highly unified, standardized playbook of audience retention, cross-promotional clipping strategies, and algorithmic engineering. The implications of this shift are staggering. Some high-profile digital voices have gone so far as to publicly state that securing an acceptance letter to Cenat's incubator yields more immediate career leverage and wealth generation potential than a degree from Harvard University. While legacy academic institutions demand hundreds of thousands of dollars in tuition to prepare students for an outdated corporate ladder, Streamer University provides direct, unhindered access to a multi-billion-dollar distribution network from day one. But this access comes at a steep, hidden price. By participating in this ecosystem, these creators are helping to build a self-sustaining attention cartel that will permanently alter the economics of internet fame. We are witnessing the definitive end of the decentralized web. As this centralized manufacturing engine begins to scale, it raises a critical, uncomfortable question that traditional entertainment networks are completely unequipped to answer. What happens to the global media landscape when a single creator collective successfully automates the production of human charisma? To truly track the gravity of what is happening on this closed campus, you have to look past the entertainment industry entirely and examine the cold, mathematical laws of capital efficiency. The underlying mechanics of the creator economy have quietly shifted. The absolute failure of traditional talent agencies to adapt to the digital native ecosystem is not a matter of a generational gap. It is a matter of flawed financial architecture. For decades, institutions like WME, CAA, and United Talent Agency held an absolute monopoly over global fame. Their business model was straightforward. Discover an individual with raw potential, sign them to a restrictive representation contract, and leverage legacy Hollywood casting networks, union production structures, and polished public relations machines to build a brand. This model worked seamlessly when distribution was tightly gatekept by major television networks and movie studios. It completely falls apart in a landscape dominated by live broadcasting. Legacy Hollywood operates on a model of extreme scarcity and high production delays. A traditional network television pilot takes months of legal negotiations, millions of dollars in union labor overhead, and rigorous focus group testing before a single frame ever airs to the public. Live streaming, conversely, is an economic system fueled by hyperfrequency and brutal, unvarnished authenticity. A top-tier live broadcaster does not command attention by appearing on a billboard once a year. They command attention by broadcasting their lives for 8, 10, or 12 hours a day, multiple days a week, directly interacting with a volatile, real-time digital audience. When Hollywood executives attempt to sign modern digital creators, they instinctively apply their legacy playbook. They try to strip away the raw, unscripted edge that built the creator's audience in the first place, attempting to package them into corporate-friendly, traditional media formats. The results have been a string of multi-million-dollar structural failures, catastrophic network cancellations, and bleeding balance sheets. Legacy agencies simply cannot comprehend or replicate the operational pacing required to keep a live digital audience engaged. They are trying to run a hyper-velocity attention engine using a blueprint designed for the 1990s. This structural incompetence left a massive power vacuum at the center of the creator economy, and Kai Cenat's management team recognized the opportunity to execute a total vertical takeover. Enter the strategic framework of Streamer University. When the official rollout occurred in June 2026, dropping a highly polished, cinematic trailer, the public viewed it through the lens of standard digital entertainment. But the underlying operational mechanics tell a completely different story. This is a highly calculated developmental league disguised as an academic institution. The physical architecture of the farm system is meticulously categorized into a strict corporate hierarchy. Applicants are separated into 3 distinct operational tiers: students, specialized professors, and activity club directors. The students are the raw, untapped data assets, micro-influencers, selected not because they have millions of followers, but because their baseline analytics show a high potential for audience retention. The professors are established industry veterans, individuals who have already mastered the algorithmic engineering required to sustain a live digital broadcast. The club directors are tasked with managing real-time content vectors, guiding groups through highly volatile, unscripted interactive formats ranging from debate teams to creative arts. The financial overhead required to scale this operation is immense. Providing free travel logistics, fully funded campus accommodations, and daily catered meals for over 100 distinct creators requires millions of dollars in liquid capital reserves. On a standard corporate ledger, this looks like an entirely unviable, asset-heavy liability with zero immediate return on investment. But when you analyze this through the lens of venture capital, the math becomes clear. This is an aggressive customer acquisition play. In the modern digital landscape, individual micro-creators are consistently choked out by a terminal structural bottleneck. They lack the capital required to scale their operations. They cannot afford high-tier multi-camera production rigs, professional studio lighting, dedicated live audio technicians, or full-time editing teams to chop their long-form broadcasts into viral short-form clips. By centralizing these selected assets into a single, fully funded campus facility, Cenat's Media Collective completely eliminates their operational friction overnight. The campus functions as an industrial-scale content factory. When you place 100 highly energetic, motivated creators into a single physical space, equipped with state-of-the-art production infrastructure, the cross-pollination of content happens automatically. A single interaction between a student and a professor doesn't just produce a moment on a live stream. It generates dozens of high-yield digital assets. It creates a highly compressed network effect, where every single participant is simultaneously broadcasting, reacting, and editing the exact same ecosystem of events. The efficiency of this model is terrifyingly high. A traditional media network spends millions of dollars on marketing campaigns just to drive traffic to a single broadcast feed. Streamer University completely reverses this dynamic. By utilizing a network of over 100 distinct creator channels, all pulling from the same centralized campus narrative, they create an inescapable web of attention across TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. If a viewer exits one student's stream, the algorithm immediately serves them a short-form clip from another student sitting across the room on the exact same campus. This creates a near-zero marginal cost for content distribution. Once the initial fixed capital overhead of the physical campus and logistics is paid for, every additional hour of live broadcasting produced by the student body costs the central organization virtually nothing, while generating millions of aggregate algorithmic impressions. The collective is essentially crowdsourcing their content generation to an elite pool of highly motivated talent who are working around the clock for a chance at institutional backing. The sheer velocity of this attention engine is so volatile that it has begun spilling over into physical public infrastructure, completely overwhelming local security apparatuses. During the open, in-person audition phases for the program at major commercial venues like State Farm Arena in Atlanta, thousands of desperate content creators swarmed downtown city centers, completely shutting down transit grids and forcing law enforcement and venue officials to abruptly cancel events due to massive safety concerns. The desperate public statements from hopeful applicants waiting in those lines revealed the psychological trap driving the entire system. Creators openly admitted they were willing to travel thousands of miles just for a single second of physical proximity to the center of the collective, fully aware that a single endorsement or feature within the campus grid could permanently skyrocket their personal financial trajectory. What these creators fail to realize is that they are entering a highly optimized processing plant. Under the guise of standard workshops and networking mixers, the central organization is systematically extracting data on what formats, pacing, and personality archetypes drive the absolute highest engagement metrics. They are building a proprietary manual for digital retention. By eliminating the independent creator's reliance on third-party production assets and substituting it with a centralized corporate infrastructure, the organization is creating a state of absolute operational dependency. The students aren't being trained to build independent businesses. They are being conditioned to operate as specialized cogwheels inside a massive, vertically integrated attention cartel. And as this factory model solidifies its infrastructure, the old rules of digital success are quietly being erased. The true genius of the factory model isn't just that it circumvents legacy Hollywood. It's that it systematically strips away the leverage of the tech conglomerates themselves. To understand why an absolute attention monopoly is being constructed, you have to look at the deeply fragile nature of platform dependency. For years, creators have operated under a dangerous illusion of ownership. They talk about their audience, their subscribers, and their data. But the cold corporate reality is that independent streamers are merely high-yield sharecroppers on digital land owned by Amazon, Google, and Rumble. Every time Twitch modifies its ad revenue split, every time YouTube tweaks its homepage distribution algorithm, and every time Kick adjusts its live discoverability weights, an independent creator's entire livelihood can be decimated overnight. The platform holds 100% of the sovereign control. If you rely solely on their automated distribution loops to find you an audience, you are structurally exposed to total business liquidation. Streamer University is the ultimate counter-strategy against this algorithmic vulnerability. Kai Cenat is executing a masterclass in platform bypassing. By engineering a physical, real-world incubation funnel, his media collective is completely severing the chain of platform dependency. They aren't trying to guess what code the engineers at Twitch are going to write next month. They are building an internal, self-sustaining network effect that forces the algorithm to bow to them. Think about how standard content optimization works. An individual creator streams for 6 hours, clips a highlight, and uploads it to TikTok, hoping the recommendation engine picks it up and drives traffic back to their primary channel. It is a slow, transactional process with a massive attrition rate. Streamer University flips this flow into a closed-loop economy. When over 100 creators are fully embedded on a single, asset-heavy campus, they generate an inescapable web of cross-promotional gravity. If a student goes live, they aren't starting from absolute zero. The collective's massive baseline distribution nodes instantly inject immediate viewers into the stream. When that student interacts with a prominent professor or participates in a high-stakes campus activity club, the cross-pollination happens in real time. The audience doesn't have to exit the app and search for a new channel. They are seamlessly routed from one campus perspective to another. This infrastructure drops the network's customer acquisition cost, CAC, to practically zero. Traditionally, scaling a new media brand requires millions of dollars in external marketing capital and massive ad spend. Inside this incubator, attention is recycled entirely within the cartel's walls. If a viewer switches off one creator's feed, the algorithm, which is hardwired to optimize for viewer session time, is immediately flooded with short-form assets, reaction streams, and real-time commentary from 3 other creators sitting in the exact same facility. The user is trapped inside a content matrix completely controlled by a single agency group. By vertically integrating the talent, the production, and the cross-promotional distribution, This farm system establishes an architectural monopoly that independent creators cannot fight. If an individual streamer attempts to compete organically against this network, they are no longer just competing against another person with a webcam. They are competing against a coordinated, synchronized media blitz that commands the entire real estate of the homepage feed. This leaves the major tech platforms in a highly precarious strategic position. Tech conglomerates desperately need top-tier talent to keep users glued to their apps so they can sell premium advertising space and ad-tier optimizations. Historically, the platforms held all the cards because they controlled the infrastructure of distribution. But if a single, unified creator collective controls the entire pipeline of future high-retention talent, the balance of power shifts permanently. Cenat isn't just renting space on an app anymore. He is constructing an independent powerhouse that can dictate terms to the platforms themselves. If a platform tries to slash contract payouts or alter monetization rules against the collective, the cartel can simply pull their entire farm system of talent and transfer hundreds of millions of aggregate viewer hours to a competing infrastructure overnight. By automating the manufacturing process of digital fame, the organization has effectively weaponized attention to bypass the gatekeepers completely, permanently rewriting the coordinates of global digital wealth. The structural evolution occurring inside this incubator marks the definitive end of the decentralized web. For years, the creator economy was celebrated as the ultimate meritocracy, a wide-open frontier where individual talent, unique perspectives, and raw creative drive could bypass institutional gatekeepers to build massive personal fortunes. But as this industrial manufacturing model solidifies its infrastructure, the romantic era of the solo, lucky influencer is officially over. It has been systematically replaced by vertically integrated corporate cartels engineered to manufacture attention on an industrial scale. The cultural ripple effect of this transition is already transforming how the next generation perceives career advancement and professional security. It is no longer an exaggeration or a hyper-intellectualized thought experiment to state that securing an acceptance letter into a specialized creator incubator provides far more immediate economic leverage and wealth generation potential than an elite Ivy League degree. While traditional academic institutions demand hundreds of thousands of dollars in tuition to prepare students for a rapidly eroding corporate landscape, a centralized attention farm provides direct, unhindered access to a global distribution network from day one. This creates a brand new hierarchy of digital capital. If an independent creator attempts to build a channel organically in this landscape, they are no longer just competing against another person with a camera and an idea. They are competing against a highly coordinated, synchronized media machine that commands the entire real estate of the homepage feed. The independent operator is structurally squeezed out, unable to match the rapid-fire cross-pollination and near-zero marginal cost of distribution that a centralized collective enjoys. The ultimate realization is that the coordinates of global media power have permanently and irrevocably shifted. Kai Cenat is no longer an entertainer navigating a platform, nor is he merely a prominent figure inside a thriving digital industry. He is executing the playbook of an industrial tycoon. By building a brick-and-mortar apparatus designed to extract data, standardize performance metrics, and automate the manufacturing process of human charisma, his organization is establishing a sovereign media infrastructure. They have built an absolute talent monopoly that controls both the supply chain of attention and the distribution networks that platforms rely on to survive. The internet didn't just witness a viral summer event or a highly successful marketing campaign. We witnessed the official corporate restructuring of digital fame. As the lights dim on the campus classrooms and the next generation of industrialized creators graduate into the feed, they carry with them a unified playbook that leaves the rest of the media landscape completely obsolete. The stadium has been built, the cartel has been formed, and the code to capture human attention has been completely industrialized.